everybody. Welcome to another episode of South Bridge Street Live. So Tuesday, it's going to be Risque Tuesday as Meredith is here to show us her goods. This is the goods, of course, from Victoria Farmers Market. How are you today?
I'm so good.
I couldn't help it. It was just too fun. We were debating how do we title this? Show us your goods.
There was no debate.
So
it
I'm
was
super
sold.
excited that you're here.
Me too. Thank you so much.
So, of course, absolutely. Okay, so I think I want to just start off with what is one thing that most people don't know about the Victoria Farmers Market is that it's open now.
All year round, every
year
Saturday.
Round, people, every Saturday.
Yes.
So this is exciting.
It is.
And it's not just fruits and vegetables. That's
No.
the other thing and we're going to get to that in a minute. But I was going to say, so you're the manager of the farmers market because you are, of course, with the Golden Crescent Food Bank.
The Food Bank of the Golden Crescent.
The Food Bank of the Golden Crescent. So tell me how those two bodies or entities are put together.
Okay, sure. So at the end of 2015, the farmers themselves were looking to not run the market. They were looking for an entity, an organization in town to take the market on as a program. And so Robin Cadle with the Food Bank stepped up and said, we'll bring you in under our umbrella. So now we're a 501c3 nonprofit under the umbrella of the Food Bank of the Golden Crescent.
Oh, that's super incredible.
So what's even better is that at the end of the day, if any of the farmers have any vegetables, any fruits that they don't want to take back home, they can give it to me. I'll take it back to the food bank right then and get it processed, get it in our cooler so that it's ready to go out on Monday to our food pantries and soup kitchens.
Super fantastic.
Yeah, it is.
I love the way that works.
It's been a great partnership.
Tell me a little bit about the farmers.
Oh, I have no qualms about saying I am so lucky to work with a group of people. I get paid to hang around every Saturday with just an exceptional group of kind, giving, talented people. They care about their customers and the food that they're bringing their customers. They care about the way that they manage their land that is most beneficial to the animals, to the crops themselves, and they always have the end product, the customers in mind. And they are just really giving, kind, incredible people.
I love that. I've met a few and have always been so in awe over their kindness. And of course, the love of their land or the love of land in general is just so phenomenal.
And the love of their food. And they are so committed to doing what's best to bring an incredible product out to you, the customer. And I just can't say enough about them.
What percentage would you say of the farmers? And I know that we've got a lot of products, so you can absolutely like the other vendors that are there. You can also add this into the equation. But what percentage would you say of the farmers rely on the farmers market solely for income?
Oh, so. I would say that probably 3/4 of them, it's an income. It's not a hobby.
Right. That's a huge number. And I want to make that really, really clear to Victoria is that when you go to a farmer's market, when you choose to shop that way, you are supporting the livelihood of men and women in our community that are growing it for you with you in mind.
This is their weekly income. Like I said, this isn't a hobby or something that they do on the side. This kind of stuff means that they're working day in and day out,
laborious.
Yes.
Do you have a garden?
I do have a garden. Yes.
Laborious.
Yes, and mine is tiny compared to obviously what what the rest of the vendors have. So I just do it for my family.
Right.
And yes, I mean it's even just getting out there and going, I have to go out and water. I really just want to lay on the couch, but I need to go water the garden.
Because it's important.
Yes,
okay, I gotta
absolutely.
tell you, speaking of little, I'm just gonna break here and just say this is like the biggest shallot, and I broke it earlier, that I've ever seen in my life.
Isn't it beautiful?
It's beautiful, and I love the way it smells.
Right, I took them out of the cooler, and I was like,
was this a contest to see who could bring, who could?
No, but that would be funny. Who can grow the most giant onion? Or this beet? Do you see this thing? It's like a softball.
I love it. Okay, so will you eat a beet?
I am new to beets. In fact, I've been asking the farmer Jeff Spinlove, how do you like to eat these? Because I haven't bitten the bullet and bought one yet, because I've only had them pickled.
Right.
And
Pickle beets are awesome.
but my aunt and uncle bought one a couple weeks back, and so I was texting them, tell me what you did with it, and so they're excellent cooks, and so they came back and told me, I think that they had roasted it, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna have to
try your root vegetable.
Yes.
Exactly. Well, I remember as a kid thinking that it was a radish.
Oh.
And eating it, and it's just that earthy taste.
Yeah.
But as you grow and your taste buds evolve, right?
Then,
and now
yes,
I'm like,
you find
beets are
yourself eating
not a
things.
bad deal, and I
Yes.
love their color. Like I want to eat for color.
Yes.
Is always just such a great, healthy way to eat.
Yeah.
So okay, so let's just go into product.
Okay.
What do you think?
Okay, well, the vegetables are front and center, and that's really how it works at the market as well. Because if we
Right.
don't have produce, people aren't going to come to our market. And so the vegetables really are front and center at our market as well. That doesn't take away from the importance of any of this other stuff.
Right.
But when you think of a farmer's market, that's the first thing you think of is
Right.
fresh, local, homegrown, farm-grown veggies.
Now, how local is local?
We our rules state that you need to be within 100 miles of Victoria.
Okay.
Most everybody is in Victoria, DeWitt, Goliad County. The furthest one that we have is Karnes City,
Okay.
which is about 70 miles or so.
Yeah.
And so from within 70 miles, most of them within about 30 or so.
Any fruits?
At certain times of the year, like we've got dewberries right now. If you're not at the market at 9 o'clock, you're not going to get dewberries.
Oh my gosh! And dewberries are almost out.
Yes,
because we've got
yes,
dewberries.
We've had dewberries for about the past 3 weeks at the market.
Okay, so
And,
dewberry lovers, you got to get there at
get
9
there
a.m.
9.
Who would
Yep.
we see for dewberries? Can you remember? Off the top of your-
Henneke Farms has had dewberries. Backyard Flowers has had dewberries, and Stangy Homestead have had dewberries.
That's fun.
And then at different times of the year, we'll have
Right.
citrus. So during the winter, we had oranges and grapefruits
and
and
that
lemons.
citrus is here from our community.
Oh, yes,
not from the valley. It's
No, that's
Yeah.
not allowed. We don't allow any sort of wholesale or resale at the market. If you're not growing these vegetables, you can't sell them.
I gotcha.
And so we've had, what else have we had at the market? Figs, kumquats. Melons are coming in, and so we'll have
Yes.
watermelons this
Here
summer.
come the melons.
Yes, and honeydew and cantaloupe and yeah. So more vegetables than fruits, but we do get certain fruits.
Yeah, right. Seasonally,
Yes.
which makes sense.
Yes.
Yes. And I think one of the other things too is it's just always when people think about shopping locally, they don't think about the transportation. Like I have to just be earthy for just a minute.
No, go ahead.
How much it takes to move a fruit and vegetable from across the United States.
Well, that begins with the variety that you grow.
Right.
You're not choosing a variety that's necessarily going to have the best flavor, the best texture. You've got to choose a variety that's going to have a tough skin that'll transport well. Because if you're going to sell this sort of stuff in a grocery store, then people aren't going to buy an ugly fruit, an ugly vegetable. And so right off the bat, the produce that's grown here isn't grown to hold up being trucked across county lines, state lines, country lines for transportation.
Right.
This is grown for the type of soil, the type of climate conditions, the flavor, the texture, what grows best
Right here, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you don't have to worry about trying to truck it across, thousands of miles.
What does shopping at the farmer's market look like? Does the average community member come in with cash? Do you bring a card? Do you guys have that, accessibility when you're working with a farmer? Do you sort of shop around? You're like, because I'm assuming when cucumbers are ready, right? There's going to be like a different variety of farmers that are going to grow cucumbers.
Yep.
You can just kind of come and pick and choose.
Yeah. So cash versus credit, it's all up to the vendor. Okay. Most of our vendors accept cards. There are a few who don't. But I encourage the vendors and the farmers to get a square, get a card reader, because the ones who do, you don't miss out on the sales that a cash only. Because I'm that person. I don't carry cash because it just goes. And so yes, bring your cards, because most of our vendors do accept cards. And then how do you shop at the farmer's market?
Sure.
Well,
like some tips and tricks.
Sure. Get there early, first of all.
Okay.
Our regular customers, our die-hard weekly customers, get there right when we open. Nobody's allowed to sell before the 9 o'clock opening bell. Customers are allowed to walk around and kind of get an idea of who's got what today.
Sure.
But no money changes hands before 9 o'clock. And that's just to start everybody out on an even keel, all on the right foot. And also, our farmers need that time to get set up.
Right.
If they're in the middle of unloading a truckload of products,
I understand that.
and they're having to turn around and say, "Oh, okay, let me do your transaction. Let me do
and
yours."
it is important to kind of understand that there's the rules of engagement because you do want a farmer and to not be confused and to want to, to get everything out on display. And I love that it's fair and balanced in that way.
Yeah, and that's a rule that it's not my rule. That rule precedes me. We're a community. We are a conglomerate of local businesses, and everybody has their input. And so that's a rule that the farmers wanted.
What are some rules for farmers market?
Are you talking about from
Well,
expand on that.
okay. Let's talk about here. Hand me these because I've been, I've been dying for these. So this is actually Meredith's personal stash of pickle.
Pretty much all of this is
Pretty
my
much
personal
all
stash.
of this is, except for these cake paps. Those are no longer.
Oh, I'm sorry. Those
Meredith's.
are Ingrid's personal
This
stash.
is my personal stash. See, it's totally like me to be like, it's all healthy, and I'll take the cake pops.
Yes.
Okay, so this is Tempe's Temptations. This is out of Cuero, Texas. And one of the things, I gotta just say, right here, it's all the peppers. I'm like, oh, yum, because not everybody can handle it, but you can handle hot.
So and Jamie, she's actually out of pickles right now because it's not cucumber season. She actually saved these for me and gave them to me for Christmas, and I've been hoarding them, and I finally opened them. But anyway, she would always, when I would buy her hot pickles, she's like, "Are they too hot? Are they too hot?" And I'm like, "No, they're not too hot. I can handle
you can
hotter."
handle it.
And so Christmas comes around, and I get this jar that's literally like half chilies and half pickles.
I love it. So you haven't tried it yet?
I sure have.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Amen, sister. Now, are they super hot?
Do you want to try one?
I would love to try one. Okay, but I want to talk about the pickle.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so the rule.
The cottage food law.
The cottage food law. And this is available for anyone on the internet.
Yes.
The cottage food law.
The Texas Cottage Foods Law, which actually this week on Thursday, there is, if I'm not mistaken, a legislative vote to expand it because it is very restrictive right now.
Did I just say good out loud?
No, that's okay. That's what
Yes.
we want. We want because they're the way that it's written, and pickles are a prime example.
Yeah.
Is that this by the cottage food law? This is the only pickle that you can sell. You may not sell pickled okra. You may not sell
because the way it was written.
It defines a pickle as a cucumber.
Right.
And so it doesn't matter if you're using the same brine for your okra, for your green beans, anything else that you're pickling. The only thing that you can legally sell at a farmer's market as a pickle is a pickled cucumbers.
Yeah. This is kind of why I wanted to talk about that is because this is why you don't see pickled okra.
Right.
It's not that the farmers haven't thought.
It's not that they don't have it at home.
Or that they don't desire to sell those to you, that there are some laws. What are some other, cottage laws?
Sure. So what else can you not sell? We can't have beef jerky at the market. No dairy. We can't do milks and cheeses and stuff like that. The raw milks have to be sold off the farm themselves.
Right.
Let's see. Pretty much anything that is temperature sensitive cannot be sold under the Texas Cottage Foods Law. If you want to branch out and sell something that is temperature sensitive, you have to have different permits and stuff.
Right.
Which costs more money. In order to sell this stuff under the Cottage Foods Law, you just need to take your $15 Texas Food Handler course and have your sales tax permit, and that's really it.
Now, do all farmers who come to the farmers market, or anyone who's interested in being a part of the farmers market, because it is so much fun.
It's
You just totally reminded me of how much fun.
We call ourselves a market family,
Yeah,
and
that's
we
right.
really
You
do.
really are.
Yeah.
What are some things? So, I'm a small farmer, and I've got a couple of things, and I really want to join the farmers market.
Okay.
How do I go about doing that?
So actually, you brought up a good point about our backyard gardener membership. I'm going to talk about that first.
Yeah, tell me all about it.
So we have two ways to join the farmers market. One is the full membership that allows you to sell any sort of produce and then anything under the cottage law. And then the second is our backyard gardener membership, and it is a reduced membership. Instead of paying all the fees, you just pay $5 as your booth fee, you can only sell fresh produce, only fruits and vegetables. No jellies, no honey, no pickles, no none of that. You can come to the market 15 times a year. That's about a third of our season, but it's for someone who has fruit trees.
Right.
And so for 6 weeks, you're overloaded in oranges,
Oh,
and you just can't eat it.
nuts because
Yes.
you see like these these orange trees, and they're falling now,
Yes.
and I'm like,
and they're rotting on the
"Wait,
ground. Yes. And so we've had a couple of farmers
if you
join.
have a neighbor that might have an orange tree that happens to be falling
And,
now.
I mean, we had a guy this past winter just pull up. He had them in the back of his truck, opened up his tailgate and sat on it, and just sold his Satsuma oranges.
Good.
And so that's for someone. That's why we call it a backyard gardener membership.
Right.
And I totally stole that idea from the Grow Local South Texas. Thank you, Aislinn Campbell, because that was a great idea. We did have some backyard gardeners join, and it's just for people who a few times a year need to unload a bounty of something.
Exactly. Like we just have a plethora of cucumbers, and we're just like we've maxed out.
Right.
We've done all that we could ever do with these cucumbers. But
now,
we don't
if you want to
waste.
sell without limits, basically,
Right.
if you want the full membership, it's $35 a year to join the market.
Right.
Our booth fee is $25 each week that you want to set up. And
Stop right there. So the booth fee, what does that give you? A table?
Nope, it gives you the space.
The space itself. Okay.
You bring, if you want a canopy, you bring that. If you want a table and chairs, you bring all that. We just give you a
Provide
spot.
you the spot. Cool.
Absolutely. And I encourage all the vendors to overload me with pictures. I'll put them on our Instagram. I'll put them on our Facebook.
Yes, you do a
in
great
addition
job
to
keeping that
trying
updated,
to their own efforts, trying to get the word out. I will put them on the official market page too, saying look what Nelson Farms is bringing this week, or look what Elena's Bakery is bringing this week, or whatever. And so yes, we have two memberships: the full and the backyard gardener membership.
Cool.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
It
and
is.
that's still, I mean, that's relatively inexpensive.
And let me get in a plug for the food bank. The food bank accepts produce. And in fact, this past winter, we got the word out, and we would actually go and pick your oranges for you if you would donate them to us. And so we had
no idea.
thousands of pounds of citrus donated over the winter, and it was great because that allowed fresh fruit to get in the hands of the population that needs it the most.
Right.
So like I said, I'm here on behalf of the farmers market, but I did want to get in that plug for the food bank.
No, I think
we
that's
do
phenomenal.
accept fresh produce as well.
Yeah, again, for your neighbor who might have an orange tree.
Exactly.
that there might be a possibility
Yep.
to help feed the community
Absolutely.
with that in a myriad of ways, really.
Yeah.
That's so cool. So this space, what kind of space are we looking at?
Oh, you would ask me that on camera.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. I think it is roughly it's either a 10 by 10 or a 12 by 12. Let's just go with that. Let's just say a 10 by 10-ish space. And so that's big enough for a canopy that you can go buy at any sporting goods store.
Right.
And you bring your tables, bring your chairs, your cash box, and however.
Bring your square.
Yeah. Yes. Bring your square. Yes.
Yes. That's super cool. And
Yeah.
why there? Why at the Patti Dodson Wellness Center?
Okay. So, the market was located there for years and years and years.
Yes.
It was. And then when it had started to become stagnant, they were having trouble recruiting new customers, recruiting new vendors.
Right.
And so when the food bank took it over, one of the things that the farmers asked was, can we try moving it to a new location? Let's try downtown. And so the market moved downtown, and we were there for about 14 months. And it started off with a bang.
Right.
And we just couldn't sustain it. After the initial excitement wore off,
Right.
it was hard for us to keep a consistent customer flow. And so after about a year of being at the market, the farmers started coming to me independently and collectively saying, can we talk to the county about moving back?
Sure.
And so I went on behalf of the market and talked to the county, and they said, come on back, we'd love to have
Bring
you.
it back.
And so the visibility is better,
Yes.
the accessibility is better. We don't have to compete for the space on weekends.
Oh wow! I
Because
didn't even think about
we
that.
weren't able to have a consistent schedule downtown. We weren't able to have it if there was already a festival or if the square was already rented.
I didn't know that you guys had moved originally.
And
I was like, oh, we don't have a farmer's market.
So
So you're back.
So we're back,
And you guys
we're
have
back
done some
every
really
weekend.
cool internal things too, like changing it for it to be every weekend.
Yes, and that was, that happened out of the blue.
Right.
So last summer we were scheduled to close about the second week of July, and about a month beforehand, one of the vendors came to me and she said, "Do we have to close?" And I said, "Well, no, we don't have to. Let's put it to a vote." And so
You have such a great spirit. I'm so glad. You're like, no, we don't have to do that. We don't have. There's nothing that says we can't do.
No, absolutely. And so we put it to a vote, and it was nearly unanimous. Let's stay open. And how that benefited the market, not just we're going to be open year round now. When it was assumed that we were going to close, I had my vendors looking for other markets to go to for the 3 months that Victoria was going to be closed.
I see what you're saying.
What happens if they weren't going to be able to come back?
Right.
What if they were unable to find another market to go to, and all of a sudden their income is
Because again, 3/4 of the farmers that are there, this is their income.
This is
their
a weekly
main
income. Yeah.
source of income. Yeah.
And
Why should they leave?
No, so we've been so, I mean, it's just been a runaway success
Good,
since
I love
we've returned.
that.
And so we've been open for business every Saturday since November 4th, I think 2017.
Cool.
Yeah.
Now it occurs to me that most locals know that the Victoria Farmers Market is at the Patti Dodson Wellness Center. Do you know the address? Because it escapes
I do,
me.
2805 North Navarro.
2805 North Navarro.
Navarro and Airline is what I
Navarro
say.
and Airline. There you go. Cool.
But a lot of people still don't know that we're every Saturday.
Right. So every Saturday at
not
9
just once a
a.m.
month.
If you want dewberries, and dewberries are about to be out of season.
Yeah, you might have another week or so.
I
Maybe
kind
two.
of. There's a selfish part of me that's like, I wish we hadn't even mentioned it. So I could get there
You
at
want the
9
inside track?
before the. There you go.
Oh, don't worry. We've had customers every week show up and they're like, "I'll be here earlier next week."
Yes.
So,
That's such
there are
a
lines.
great blessing.
And it's the same thing with tomatoes. Tomatoes are going to start coming in, and
it's
people will
gonna be,
start showing up.
Do local restaurants, do you see any restaurant owners there? Or do you know of restaurants that support the farmers market?
Not that I know of, and that is something that I would love to get into.
Right.
And I take that back. That's not true. I know that Meridith Wellness has bought vegetables from Nelson Farms.
Right.
Out of Inez.
Oh, cool.
And so let me take that back because
and
has.
I'm glad that you could shout out to Meridith, but where I was kind of going with that is that I know chefs, and I wonder, who really enjoy clean,
and I would invite them to come
foods.
out,
Yeah.
and if they want to talk to a farmer about, can you grow me this?
Cool.
Can I source this from you? Will you grow
Right.
this for me? I invite that sort of thing because that's what I want. I want this to not just be a source of income, but also like a springboard for greater things to happen to them.
That's
you know what I mean?
super cool. Yeah, I know
So-
exactly what you mean. That's awesome. Okay, so
we keep getting
now
off
we go
the
to
topic.
because there's a lot to
I
talk
know,
about, and
know.
it's important stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so farmers market, not just fruits and vegetables, but and a whole lot more.
Let's talk about honey.
Yes, honey. Let's talk about honey.
So
Nelson Farms honey. Wow.
out of Inez. So
Oh,
we do have
cool.
honey at the market, and honey is a seasonal thing. So when you show up and we don't have honey, it's because we haven't had enough rains for the wildflowers for the bees to go out and feed, and so this is we're not like the grocery store. We are seasonal. What's available is available, and what's not is not. And so right now, Nelson Farms is our only honey vendor. But I know that at least 2 or 3 other of the farmers also have beehives, and so we do hope that we'll have a handful of honey vendors before the end of the year.
That is so cool. Have you ever gone out and watched them? Source honey?
No, I take that back. Yes, I have. I've watched not the Nelsons, but our other honey vendor, Wild Country, out of Goliad. I've gone out with Mickey and
Wild
watched him do some
Country.
stuff.
I love that.
Isn't it
These
fun?
are great. Yeah, I mean Nelson's Farm is cool too, but I just mean like how cool.
Yeah.
All right, so you've got honey.
I do.
It's seasonal. What else do you have? Oh, you've got some jams.
What'd you say?
You've got some jams.
Oh, jams. Yes, I'm sorry. So Mustang grape jelly. I have.
I made some.
Did you really?
Yeah, last year was my first time to make it. I love that.
I have, let's see, Elena. I have lemon honey jelly, and what is this, lavender jelly?
Oh, lavender jelly. I have
Yes.
never had that.
I actually haven't even opened that one up yet.
Elena's Bakery.
Yes, Elena also made the.
Oh, the
Elena
cake
made
pops.
the cake pops. Yeah.
Elena's my new best friend.
And then Tempe's Temptations, Jamie also makes jelly.
Cool.
And so this is a cherry Dr. Pepper jelly. And then we have
Oh, cherry Dr. Pepper.
I am not kidding when I say I bet we have 30 different varieties of jelly at the market.
That's awesome.
Between the Nelsons,
Yes.
Elena's Bakery, Spindla Vegetable Ranch, Tempe's Temptations. I'm trying to think, those are the only ones who bring jelly. I bet we've got 30 variety. Oh, and Henneke Farms also brings jelly.
Oh, cool.
So if you are looking for homemade jelly, we got you covered.
Some exotics.
Yes,
like
absolutely.
lavender.
Yes.
What's this?
Let me do
Okay,
this.
all
I'm
right,
kind of going from outside to inside,
Okay,
so I don't
cool.
forget anything. There's method to my madness. Apple butter. So
Apple butter is
yes.
fabulous.
So
I have not even thought of apple butter lately. Like, oh my gosh, this is yummy.
So this is actually the first apple butter I've ever tasted. My husband, when I asked him if he'd ever tried it, he was like, "Are you kidding? I love it." And so I tried some and was like, oh, "Okay, I'm sold."
Wow.
I love it. Yeah, I just eat it
yeah,
by
out
the
of
spoonful. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing with it, Dominique. Sorry, but I'm just eating it straight out of the jar.
and this comes from the
Stangy
Stangy
Homestead.
Homestead. Oh, that's so cool. I love that labeling.
She's one of our newest vendors.
apple butter. Cool.
So Henneke Farms has a mill, and so they have fresh ground corn products. So they bring cornmeal, corn flour, cornbread mix. I feel like I'm forgetting some flaxseed meal. And this is in addition to, they also bring jellies. They bring pickles. They bring like lip balms and lotions and stuff. They bring laundry detergent.
Wow.
They bring eggs. They bring meats, and they bring. I just had it. Things like snack mixes and stuff. So
Oh, that's super fun. Okay, well, so you said the M word. So should we go to that?
yes, absolutely.
All right. Okay, guys.
Okay.
So here's my thing. This is our big
Reveal.
reveal. It's a boy. No. Okay. This is just unbelievable to me that you guys now have meats.
Yeah. So both of these are ground beef. Like I said, this is literally just my personal stash of stuff from my house.
Right.
And we eat ground
Super
beef
cool.
like it's going out of style. This is from Turkey Hollow Farms, and
Can I
this.
see that one?
Yeah, sure. This is from Henneke Farms. Both of these farms raise their own animals. They, in addition to ground beef, they bring all sorts of cuts of beef. When you were talking about ribeyes and stew meat and bones and roasts.
So they sell the bones for like if you're gonna do like a
Bone broth or
wow.
yes. They also bring lamb. They bring pork, and Turkey Hollow also brings chicken.
Wow.
The thing
So
with
you've got-
chicken-
we really have like this expansive. Wow.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
incredible to me.
It really is.
So it's not even just that it's ground beef. Like
Yeah.
it's not just that. Oh, and by the way, we have
this is a
meats.
a very sadly small example of what
But it's still. But here's the deal. You've got now. Okay, so let me ask you too about the the health department regulations and things like that. When you're buying product, whether it's pickles or whether it's jelly or whether it's my personal stash of cake pops or ground beef, all of these farmers are coming with all of their permits and all of their
absolutely
regulations.
And I
that
didn't
are-
bring eggs. My eggs are sitting in my fridge. But in order to have eggs, you have to go to the health department inside there at Patti Dodson and get an egg permit. And for meats, you have to have a manufacturing license. For salsa, I didn't even. I'm out of Stella's salsa right now. We have exactly one salsa vendor because there are a ton of hoops to jump through in order to sell salsa. Including
Wow, good for
she
her
has
to jump.
Yes, so that she could be the one
Support
vendor.
people who are jumping.
Yeah, she even has to send samples off to Texas A&M to make sure that the pH is correct, because that's the whole reason that salsa is so highly regulated, because if the acidity is not correct, then you can introduce foodborne pathogens, botulism, and such.
Yes.
So
she's got it.
yeah, she's got it.
Wow,
Her
that's
stuff is
awesome.
good, and she won a prize at the Ganado Farmers Market last year. I think it was her medium salsa. So now it's her award-winning.
Oh, I love that. Oh, that's awesome.
Yes, it's great.
Super cool. All right, so what else we have?
Oh, those are candles.
Oh
That
my
one
gosh.
and this one. Candles from Crafty Cats. That one's a vanilla, I think, vanilla coconut or something.
Is there anything that Mandy cannot do? We're actually going to have her on the show.
This one's candy.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. My kids are in love with these candles. My daughter especially. And when I brought these home, my husband and I were eating dinner, and Avery brought me these candles, and she said, "Can we light these candles on the table?" So we had a candlelight dinner from the little jarred sweet candles.
I love this. This is super cool. And then, okay, so we've got bath bombs and we've got lip balms.
That's
and then
a scrub.
This is, oh my gosh.
Yes.
It's a eucalypt. Can I open it?
Yeah, go ahead.
You don't mind?
No, not at all.
Oh my gosh.
Might have to stir it around. I haven't even.
Oh
opened
no,
it.
that's so fantastic.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
so it's just my personal stash of cake pops and this eucalyptus mint. Just using. So what are you looking for vendors that are coming in? What are some dreamy things that you're hoping Farm Fresh,
Body wash.
Body
yes,
wash,
that's-
yes.
So.
This is so expansive now compared to
And
years
what
ago.
have I? So I don't have eggs out here. I went off and left them. It was before coffee. The Nelsons bring shelled and unshelled pecans.
Love pecans.
We've got a handful of people who bring banana bread, zucchini bread, pumpkin bread.
Okay, so then you can bake. So now
yes.
there's baked goods
Yes,
too.
so
oh,
that's-
super cool.
Gosh, yes, it can be a tough job to like.
Banana bread is amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
To just go home with like vegetables and not go home with all the banana breads and
Right.
cookies and cupcakes and cake pops and fresh ground spices and seasonings and
Oh yeah,
plants.
spices.
Yes.
Okay, wait. Go back a little bit. Spices.
Okay.
Tell me a little bit about that. Are they
Okay.
sold in bulk? Is it just
No,
in...
no, and it's just one vendor. Jamie with Tempe's Temptations
How
also
cool.
brings spices. So she grows her own herbs
Right.
and then dries them and blends them.
Right.
So
So she's got blends.
yes,
How
I mean,
fun.
and she'll do like a Mediterranean blend, an Italian blend, a Greek blend, like a Thai blend, and then she'll do
So exciting.
like there's a dill that you can make into like a dip, and then I mean everything from just chili pekins and just little bottles of dried dill and dried pepper, and she's got a whole
Fantastic.
table full of individual dried herbs, and then plus seasoning blends that she's made.
Super cool. And then plants.
Plants. So yes, another thing that's regulated. In order to sell plants, you have to have a nursery and floral license from the Texas Department of Agriculture. So we've got one vendor, Backyard Flowers and Farm, who sells plants, and she does everything from tomato plants for your garden, pepper plants for your garden, herbs, hanging baskets, flowering plants, succulents, annuals, and everything in between.
Wow.
Yeah, and so she brings a ton of stuff. She also bakes. She brings eggs. She brings dewberry cobblers and peach cobblers and homemade breads. I didn't even talk about homemade, like just regular bread, but we do
Right.
have like white bread and like some herb breads and wheat breads and stuff.
Wow. That's
Corn breads. Yeah.
So what are the new laws, these new cottage laws that they're maybe expanding? What are we maybe hoping to see in the future for organizations like local farmers markets?
So I know they want to expand the definition of pickles, and I think that there is something to do with eggs to where, don't quote me on this, something about making it easier to sell eggs and maybe being able to sell eggs to restaurants, not just at farmers markets.
I see what you're saying, yes.
And really, like I said, just expanding the cottage law because there are things that theoretically you should be able to bring that you can't.
Right.
And so I'm not sure what's going to get passed and how it's going to be.
Are you
rewritten
really
and
up?
stuff.
Are you, really sort of having the pulse of that kind of stuff, so you know when those things become available?
So
What is it?
as I try, but actually some of my vendors keep me on my
Right.
toes with
Oh, I
regards
bet they
to,
do.
Yeah.
I bet they do.
And so, like just today, one of the two of my vendors yesterday, Annie Spenlove and Dominique Stangy, posted a survey that went out in relation to the cottage foods bill that the lobbyists and such are trying to get people who do bake under the cottage foods law and sell at farmers markets they want to get a lot of input before Thursday. And so I saw it go out on each of their Facebook pages, and I said, oh my gosh, thank you guys. I'll share this with all the vendors tomorrow. And so when I leave here, that's one of the things that I need to do.
Looking for that.
And I try, like Gary Henneke is really good about keeping me up to date on FARFA, which is the Farm and Ranch Freedom Alliance. And they are an advocacy group for small farms. Cool. And there's so much out there. It really, like, it takes a village just to keep up with all of it.
Right.
But everybody, you know, being that this is their livelihood, everybody is very good at sharing and spreading the word about what's going on with FARFA, what's going on with the cottage foods law, any changes that might be coming down the pipe, maybe legislatively wise or whatever, about changes that could impact farmers or markets or what, you know. I think one of the other things is that they want to add milk and dairy to the list of allowed things at farmers markets, because as I said, if you want raw milk, you have to buy it from the farm itself.
Right.
And
absolutely.
Just expanding the opportunities for people who do this for a living to be able to make a living.
Right.
You know
Gotcha.
what I mean?
Yeah. No, I totally, yes. Absolutely. So what are you looking for? What would be some cool vending ideas that for people who might want to just become engaged? And
gosh, you know, I've had a couple of people approach me about seafood. Seafood is not something that we have at the market. It's something that, you know, you'll need to go.
But you can offer?
Well, you need to go through
with the right proper permits and regulations.
And
gotcha.
Yes. You know, somebody was asking about things like kombucha and the fermented drinks and stuff, and all of that just requires extra hoops to jump through. You know, we're always looking for produce vendors, because it's just, produce is the number one thing that brings people to the market.
Sure.
And people are always looking for more. You know, when we have tomatoes and we're sold out of tomatoes in the first 30 or 45 minutes, then for the rest of the market, you know, 3 hours or so, people are going, oh, you don't have tomatoes?
You gotcha.
We did. And so really, produce vendors are the one thing that's always at the top of my list to try and recruit.
Right.
And as far as expanding, gosh, you know, there's honey. We never have enough honey at the market.
Yes.
What else? I mean, I don't turn away any vendor who wants to sell. I will say that. I don't say.
But you don't do like arts and crafts. You don't do.
So we have very few craft vendors on our market roster by design, because we're a food market. Right. We want our customer base to be the people who come and buy their weekly groceries with us. And so it's a lot easier to make money at our market as a food vendor than as a craft vendor, because this stuff is consumable. This stuff goes quick. You got to replenish it. And so if you're buying body wash or candles or woodworking or whatever, a few of the crafts that we do have at the market, it's harder for them to make it because it's not a consumable.
Right. I see what you're saying.
So I do have a couple of craft vendors on the roster, and as we get more food vendors, I'll open up another craft spot for.
Now, does the government allow WIC and food stamps and those?
Yes, Nelson Farms currently accepts SNAP, and I've had 3 other vendors inquire about how to go about accepting SNAP, which is food stamps. Right. And we encourage it if our farmers want to get into that. And I've just sent the farmers some information about if they want to get into it. Here's the application. Sure. Here's a contact for who can walk you through the process and whatnot. So yes, I would love to expand the number of vendors who do accept SNAP, because
but that's a personal
choice
or the
it's
opportunity
an option,
for
for each vendor,
for the legal work. And
because you know, this stuff is not priced outrageously. I think when people think of a farmer's market, they can think that it's elite or bougie or however you want to say that.
Really?
Yes, that it's expensive.
Right.
But the thing is, the farmers can't price this stuff out of a market. You know, I mean, they can't price it too high, or the customers won't buy it. And so there's sort of a natural ceiling to the price structure, because if you're going to be charging, you know, some outrageous amount for a bunch of carrots, you're not going to sell them. And so they I think sell them at a very fair price that is worth their time for all the labor that goes into it, and also fair to the customer for knowing what the product that they're getting. And so I think we're extremely fairly priced.
Well, see, I would be like, listen, I'm going to just say before we get to pricing, this might be the biggest shot on the planet. We might have to negotiate our terms with the current fair market value
Oh
for
my
shallots.
gosh! Well, and it's where's my zucchini that's up here? It's my big gorgeous Nelson farm.
It's
yes,
beautiful.
Well, I've been waiting for zucchini season to get here because I've been living on the sad zucchini that I can get at the grocery store, and I'm like, no, I want like
it's time. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I want a big farm grown one that I can slice up and throw on the grill. And,
Cool.
Yeah.
And then voila.
Yeah.
Victoria Farmers Market.
And I mean, literally, you can make a whole meal out of what we've got. You can get, you can go buy your pork chops and buy your seasoning to go,
Love
your
that.
rub to go with the pork chops, and then you can get, maybe you're doing a pork roast, or maybe then you want, your onions and carrots. And we do have potatoes sometimes. We had potatoes last week. Anyway, you can really meal plan and get stuff for a full meal, and not just salad. I mean, complementary vegetables for pork chops or ribeyes or whatever you might be purchasing that day.
If you just care to try it.
and dessert.
And dessert. I love this. Meridith, I'm so excited that you came and visited, and I'd love for you to feel welcome to come back seasonally and bring us, whatever's next for the end of summer, the hot summer, and what's coming up for early fall. There you go.
Watermelons and
okra.
okra.
My gosh, we could cover this whole place with watermelons. I'm sure Jake would love that. Well, thank you so much for coming to visit.
Thanks for having me.
Let me just take a second to say thank you to the vendors, and especially to the farmers who, labor and toil for us.
Absolutely.
So that
because
we can
this is a tough
locally
job.
grown. Yes.
And it's by far I have the easiest job at the market, doing the coordination.
Are you there on most Saturdays?
Every Saturday.
Every Saturday, good. So if you have tons of questions, because now I do, off air, this is the woman.
Come see me.
visit.
I'm under the red canopy. I'm easy to find, and I love directing people to who has eggs today, or who has meats, and who has who has honey, and or talk to me about what you want to sell at the farmers market, and talk to the farmers. Ask them.
Engage.
Yes. Yep. How do you? Oh, so you raise your own cattle? Absolutely, and they'll be happy to tell you what goes into raising that meat and getting it processed. Or how do you, if you don't spray your vegetables with pesticide, well, then how do you fight off pests? What do you use for fertilizer? Talk to these people. Love to tell you how your food is grown and raised.
And talk to you about why this cucumber isn't shiny.
Yes.
Because it's not covered in
the wax.
In the wax.
Yes,
I
absolutely.
understand. Oh, thank you, Meridith.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Victoria Farmers.
Thank you, guys, everybody who supports us. We've got just an incredible group of diehard weekly customers, and
every Saturday, 9 a.m.
Yes, come see us.
Guys, thank you so much for watching Southbridge Street Live.